So cultural intelligence is a concept that was developed by Chris Early and Ang and Lynn Van Dyne are the main researchers in this area. And it describes what it means to be effective in a cross-cultural encounter. And it's made up of four main dimensions based on the multiple foci of intelligence. And those dimensions are motivation, behavior, a cognitive or a knowledge dimension, and a metacognitive or a strategic dimension. If you look at most university strategic plans, there's usually some element around globalization or internationalization. And what that usually means is that they want more students to go abroad, and they also are encouraging more international students to attend our campuses. And that's a trend that you see actually around the world. So with increasingly diverse classrooms and campus spaces, we want that to be a positive experience, both for our domestic students so that they can be as enriched as possible from the diversity that's arriving on our campuses and really have effective encounters with people from different cultures, and also for our international students who are arriving.
So we have a project currently on the go where we get students who will go on international work terms to assess themselves on their CQ. So they would do a pre-test before they leave, and then upon their return they would do a post-test. And while they're overseas, they're also working in a workplace, and so their supervisors assess them as well, and that's where the multi-rater assessment comes in. And so students, we get results for their pre-tests, post-tests, so that we can then assess how have they done during the work term. Has this work term impacted them in any way? Has their CQ changed in any way? So from the student perspective, it's been helpful for what I've seen when talking to students about cultural intelligence. You see this light bulb going on, right? That, yes, I do engage in these four dimensions in whatever I do. I just haven't thought about it in that way, right? So it's a nice way for them to be able to articulate what they do on a regular basis, but also to be able to then consciously think about it when they're interacting or getting ready to interact with someone from a different culture or engaging in an international experience. It's been valuable for them to be able to think through some of the issues that may come up and do that research and find out what they might encounter so that they can better prepare for that. And it's been quite rewarding to see that level of engagement from the students and the success stories that come out of that.
Our primary motivation in being involved in this whole field was our university, like many universities, is engaged in a lot of international activity. And our goal was to not only have students engage in activity, but to have an outcome where they could realize what they had gained from that international activity, be able to articulate their competencies and be able to move forward with that. And so we struck on the cultural intelligence work so that students who've had, whether it's an international work experience or an international study abroad or exchange, or they're an international student here, they could first of all appreciate their own culture and appreciate what they have to offer, and as well be able to talk about the competence they've gained as a result of that internationalization and why it's of value to workplaces that are increasingly diverse, why it's of value to any kind of situation, whether it's a teaching situation or a research situation where you're interacting with individuals from diverse cultures, and be able to then both appreciate it and talk about it and demonstrate it moving forward.